Right, morning. So it's Monday morning, and unfortunately it was a quiet night. The fish were showing all over the area last night. I can't believe it's not happened. I had the one fish really early yesterday, and then that's it. I'm pretty sure Ollie hasn't had anything because I haven't heard him. Generally speaking, for him it would probably be a pretty good fish if he had one out there, so I would have thought he would have come round, unless he had like a little double or something. Right, just dropped in on Oxlease for a overnighter. Set up in the dark. Seen some fish roll in pretty close. Put out 3 single baits, and this one's gone off about, well, a couple of hours after getting them out. Bang on 23. Lovely fish, and first 20 for a while because I haven't been out much carping, so pretty chuffed with this one. We're going to get her back and hopefully catch a few more. First fish on one of the new hooks as well. Started using some new hooks from Stance Angling. First time I've used them, first fish I've had on them, nice 20, so pretty good so far. And we'll get this one back and see if we can get a few more. She goes in. Got it?
Yep.
And off she goes.
And off she goes.
Look at that.
What a beauty.
Lovely fish. Off she goes.
And into the deep.
What is he doing? The lake, mate, is all the way over there. You're going the wrong way. You gonna try and pinch me? I'm basically fishing inline with this tree. Well, more in this little gap. I was using that right side of the tree as a marker, kind of in this gap. And I got 2 rods out towards here, and then the right rod is a bit further over. It's kind of out over this direction more. It wasn't as accurately placed as the other two, because the other two are on the bottom, and the right rod's on the zig. So I was sort of thinking of moving the zig around a bit. It was clipped to the area, but I was thinking of just moving it around the general vicinity of where I've put the bait. Yeah, I had that fish yesterday on a piece of plastic core. Oh yeah. Yeah, I had it on a piece of plastic corn, and a tiny little pellet PV bag. It's probably about 20mm PV bag, really just to sort of stop it from tangling. Just had a small little basically just a small little mouthful. Right, so I was saying I got the right rod on a fixed zig, which was basically a standard inline setup. I think it's 2.5, 3 ounce inline, just with an anti-tangle sleeve. Obviously that just stops it, pushes it away from the lead, kind of tries to prevent it from tangling. I've got I don't know if you can see there, but I've got a doubled up. It's a bit thicker. I've got a doubled up piece at the bottom, and again that just makes this bottom section slightly stiffer. Just sort of helps it sort of push away a little bit from the lead, stop it tangling. These when you're fishing at inline, they don't tend to tangle as easy. So if you just use like a little anti-tangle sleeve, and just double up the bottom section, it tends to sort of push it away enough. You don't need to foam up the hook or do anything like that. It tends to sort of make it anti-tangle enough. And then the hook bait, which I've had on here, it's kind of like a hatching, it's kind of like a bloodworm imitation with like a little black top to it. Kind of just looks like something hatching up. And I've had that out there. I've had that set at about 5.5 foot, so quite low down in. Well, this one was quite close in. It's probably 20 yards out, I suppose. The fish have been quite close into this bank, but it still feels quite deep. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch this to another adjustable. So I'm going to fish 2 adjustables, and I'm literally going to just fish 2 different baits, 2 different hook bait options, and I'm going to just change the depth and just play around with the depths I'm fishing them at for the day, I think, and just see how we get on. Right, I wanted to just show you one of the main buckets I use for coming up to linear and use kind of fisheries. So this is one of my buckets. This is my pellet mix. So this tends to be one of my bulk ingredients to a lot of my feed. So I've got some slightly bigger pellets. Most of them are quite micro, sort of 2 mil, 3 mil. I think those are 4 mil, bigger ones there. But I've got a mix of I've basically got a mix of sticky baits krill, dynamites krill, which are these little red ones, and then I think the company's called Maracoo, which are the darker ones, which are I think they're squid and octopus, or squid and something. But it's just a micro mix. I buy you just a few bags of it, just make up a load of it, and what I tend to use this for is my bags. So as you can see here, I've got loads of these little fishnet mesh bags. As you can see, there's quite a few in there, and what I use them for is basically just stopping the rig from tangling. This is actually a really long hair. This rig is actually meant for a 18 to 20 mil bait with a snowman presentation. These are actually 2 12 mils, so they're pretty. The hair is pretty long. But as you can see, I just pull the hook into the bait, into the bag, and it just protects it. Very standard fishing. This one's actually quite hard, but what I tend to do is make them quite soft like that. You can move them around a bit, and what that allows you to do is manipulate the bag a bit to actually be able to pull the needle through them. And I tend to put a little bit of putty on the rig, as you can see, and that's obviously quite thick, so it tends to allow you for a bit of movement to pull that through without having to take it off every time. But what I normally do is I have sort of 5 or 6 rigs like this ready to go, which I'm using obviously with sort of similar hook baits, matching hook baits, or slight differences to go out onto a baited spot. And then I've got plenty of these ready so I can recast easy. I then also have solid bag presentations ready to go. So, you know, here you've got a rock hard, that's a 2.5 ounce lead inside there. That's going to be a little wafter, sticky baits wafter, and then I've got the pellet mix in there. So I tend to have like six or so of these ready. I have a few of the other rigs ready, and then depending on what I'm doing, I've got everything ready to go. I have a little bait spray. I tend to sort of spray them up before I cast them out, just to add a bit of attraction. I have some spare PVA, blah blah blah. And then this one in here, I've got little PVA balloons, I call them. Basically what they are is if I'm fishing single hook bait or for zigs, put one of these on. What that is 2 pieces of foam cut in half and stuffed inside some PVA mesh, and it basically, when you nick it on the hook, it acts as like a balloon, And the reason I did put it in mesh is because you can nick the hook into the mesh and it dissolves really quick, so it stops it sort of allows you to get a bite quicker. You know, this isn't going to be sort of sat on the rig. I find sometimes when you sandwich a hook between two pieces of foam, it takes a while for them to break down, so they tend to fuse together. Whereas this sort of acts, it gives it a bit more resistance, gives it a bit more sort of lift, acts like kind of a parachute on the way down. Really good for zig rigs, stopping them from tangling up. And I've used quite a few of these. I've just got a few tied up. As you can see, I have quite a lot tied up, ready to go, just in a bag. So leave that in here, good to go. And that's my main bucket when I come places like this. Because generally your approach is going to be feeding over bait, fishing over bait, and you just want several sort of presentations ready to go, so you ain't got to mess around too much. And solid bags are always really good for fishing at distance and showing fish, feeding over a spot, you know, feeding over a spod mix in a softer area or whatever. They're really really useful. And that is basically my bucket for coming up places like this. Nice and organised, ready to do the job. Right, hey guys, thought I'd just show you the gear I've been using. So it's the first session I've used it, so this is literally my first opinions on the products. So I've been asked to try out some products from a company called Stance Angling. They're relatively new. I think they established last year, so 2014, and they've brought out sort of your basic sort of terminal tackle for the time being. Just to sort of test the waters, see how it gets on, and I imagine they're going to bring out sort of new products as the company sort of establishes itself and starts to gain a bit of popularity. I'm sure they're going to start releasing different products. Basically, they've come out with your standard sort of leg clip setup. So first impressions are it's pretty good quality gear. For the price of it, it's very good quality. You get, I think you get 5 tail rockers, 5 leg clips in a pack for £2. As far as I can remember, I think it's £2. You get like sort of 10 quick chain swivels, 10 anti-tangle sleeves. Basically everything comes in packs of 10. It's pretty much £2 per pack, so it's really good value for money. I think a lot of tackle companies are starting to take the piss, to be honest, with the prices, what they're charging. There's no way it costs them the price they're putting on the packaging. I mean, they're clearly marking a lot of it up big time, so it's nice to see new companies bringing out tackle at affordable prices, but it's really good quality. What I like about it, I'll just show you the leg clip. So there's the leg clip setup. It's a very nice transkhaki, translucent sort of green colour. As you can see, it's a standard leg clip, and a quick link just pushes nice and snug inside there. So if you do get snagged, let's see if there we go. It just comes off. It was a bit hard. It did come off a little bit slower that time, probably because it's dry. Normally this would be all wet, so it comes off a lot quicker. Just to prove that, or I will just demonstrate. So if I dampen it like it's out in the lake, put the lead back on, put the tail rubber on. So the tail rubber is on there like that. Boom. It's quite similar actually, but it's got a lug. It's got like a lug on the tail rubber, so I'm pushing it over the top of that, which obviously gives it a lot more grip. You can see it's quite a long way on there. I imagine if you put it on quite lightly, it's going to just pop off. But at the end of the day, you only want the lead coming off in most situations if it gets snagged or if it hits weed, or you know, that sort of thing. So let's just nick it on slightly and see what happens. So say you were fishing quite a snaggy area, you're just going to nick it on. See, you get it on. I don't want to end up getting smashed in the hand with this. Okay, we nailed it. Yeah, it comes off first time. So there you go. It's because it's got that little lug. It just holds it on a bit firmer so you don't lose it all the time. Anyway, so yeah, that's the leg clips. Really like them. That's what I had the fish on last night. So first fish I've had on them. First time I've tried them, I had a fish within a couple of hours. I've got the quick change link on there. I don't know if you can see that. And I just got one in there, matching sleeves, which obviously makes it all nice and anti-tangle proof. The hook, I'm using one of their hooks. I think this is one of their trod hooks. They're size 4, I think it is. That's what I had the fish on, size 4, and I'm just fishing it with a little mini micro swivel, which is a thinking tackle micro swivel, with this little bead, just so it just sits. Basically, it just sit flat on the bottom like that and just lift up slightly, so it makes it like a critically balanced piece of hook bait. The hook length is actually destroyed. This was I think £20 or £25, I think it's £20 Fox. The matte, I can't remember what it's called. It's one of their coated braids, but it's the matte one. I really like it. It's like a darker green colour, but that got snagged up with the other rod, so it's ripped all the coating off. Luckily the hook did hold fast, and it's still pretty sharp. I'd still be quite confident putting that back out there, so I'm pretty happy with their hooks. And that's the setup. I've got a fluorocarbon. I had about 2 foot of fluorocarbon. This is Fox Illusion fluorocarbon. This is the original Illusion, because that's what I had, as opposed to the Transcarky Illusion they've got now, which I think is probably a bit better, but this stuff does the job alright. So I had about 2 foot of that. I tend to fish quite tight lines on here, sort of semi-tight. I don't fish slack lines or anything anymore. I don't think it works. Ruins your bite indication. So I just fish a clear leader. This is about £20, I think. So when you're obviously tightening down to the lead, they can't see it as easy. You know, it's nice and clear, and does the job. Main line, I'm actually using £16 Fox Exocet Camo. I'm not a massive fan of the camo version, to be honest. I think I'll go back to the green. The actual green is brilliant. It's probably one of the best lines I've ever used. It's such a good line. It's nice and thin, smooth, casts really well. It's really strong, and it sort of transkhaki colour to it, which seems to be really good colour. I'm really rate any sort of transkhaki kind of colour for a terminal tackle. It just seems to blend in really well. But that's it anyway. So check them out, Stance Angling. I'll put some details of them in the comments, or in the information box, and I'll put a link to their website. Their products are really cheap. They're really good. So check them out. Have a look at them. Like I said, it's only the first time using them. I do a more detailed video on their products once I've used them for a bit longer and caught a few more fish on them. I give a bit more of an honest opinion, but like I said, this is literally a first impressions. I'm not sponsored by them in any way. They've literally just I kind of knew them through someone, and they asked me to try a few of their products out, so they just sent me a little pack to give a go, just to get an opinion really. They're trying to obviously find out what people think of their gear, so they sent me a few products to test, so I'm pretty happy with them. I'm probably going to actually continue to use their gear, keep putting it through its paces and see how I get on with it. But anyway, have a look at it and let me know what you think, and I'm going to get back to fishing. Cheers. There's the nice old slick coming off there. I've just been bombing out in line with this tree. Got 2 zigs out here, only about don't know, 25 yards, 30 yards at the most, and this big slick's just come off of it. And as you can see, the sun's going down over there. Lovely evening. Still afternoon really, but the sun goes down so early at this time of year, so ridiculous really how short the days are. Well, that is not a good way to end the session. Open the wrong end of the air dry bag. Open one end, drops out into a net. Open the other end, pours the bait all over the floor. Yep, guess which end I opened? Idiot.